Well, here we are, Ramon, where one of the most famous scenes in cinematic history was filmed.
Which scene was that?
It's from Vertigo, Alfred Hitchcock.
Okay.
Yeah, so like Jimmy Stewart is like driving after Kim Novak, and she's standing down on the ledge, and she's throwing flowers in the water.
I don't know who those guys are, but I got it. I got the point.
You don't know
Okay.
who Jimmy Stewart is?
No, I got the point though.
Well, she's like throwing flowers in the water, and then she jumps in, and Jimmy Stewart's like, "Oh my God!" and he jumps in after her and drags her out of the water. It's very dramatic.
Wow, sounds just, I'm touched. Sounds amazing.
I mean, if I fell in the water, would you save me?
Probably not. I don't swim, Ellis. Yeah, I don't swim.
Cool.
Hi, welcome to Ignition, a weekly show by Infusionsoft where we take one question and answer it to help your small business grow. My name is Ramon Ray.
And I'm Ellis Friedman.
So Ellis, please tell people how in the world can they contact the Ignition show and contact us?
They can email blog@infusionsoft.com.
Awesome. So let's get the show started. And what's our question of the day?
Our question of the day is from Melissa. My cleaning company has grown a lot in the past year, but something I've noticed through feedback and declining return customers is that our customer support needs some improvement. But I don't want to focus on it at the expense of our sales and acquisition. How do I prioritize customer support and find the right tools without taking away from our growth?
Wow, customer support's a big issue. I mean, we have like billions of emails that come through here for the Ignition show.
Literally billions.
Thankfully, Ellis, as with every show, you and I don't have to answer that question,
Right.
but we have an expert who can help us.
We do.
So really happy to have Tom Bune, who's the General Manager of Small Business at LivePerson. Welcome, thanks for being here. And I met Tom when he was at Yahoo. He's a former executive of Yahoo. And LivePerson, in case you don't know it, is all about helping companies connect to their customers, to consumers. And if you see those little buttons, would you like help now? Want a live chat? That's often, in fact, powered by LivePerson. So that's what we mean by chat on the web and things like that. So
You're often directly talking to Tom.
exactly.
That's right, exactly.
All right, so Tom, where would you start with Melissa's question?
Well, first of all, great to be here and a big fan of your show.
Thank you.
You know, Melissa's question is a very relevant one. We recently did a survey with about 500 small businesses, and customer support is actually their number one priority. And I've seen it also actually interchange sometimes between sales being number one priority. But what's evident as competition has heated up, a lot of small businesses realize that I need to think about retaining and growing my customers.
Yeah.
So, and one of the emerging trends that I've been seeing over the years, I think it really kind of starting at enterprise, but it's really cascaded down to small businesses, is that they're looking at customer support or really customer experience as part of their sales and growth strategy. So before, traditionally, you would think of it as a kind of a cost center, but in fact, what it is, it's an important vehicle to make sure that not only are you closing new sales, but also growing that relationship and growing existing sales.
I think it's probably a lot more helpful to think of it as part of sales instead of totally separate.
Exactly, exactly. And then the second point I would highlight in this case, whether it's dry cleaning or other type of business, is that there's a lot of low cost or even free tools that are available out there online. And just give you a few examples. There are solutions. For example, we recently launched a tool. It's free for one user where you can, it's a mobile application where you can message with your consumers. So the third point I'd highlight is social media monitoring and management. It's been a growing, evolving area. There's a lot of services, again, like Hootsuite, and there's other low-cost providers that allow you to, in one centralized place, be able to see what customers are saying about you, whether it's your service, if let's say you're a moving company, what do they have to say on Yelp or on Facebook. It's a great way to monitor and then be able to respond. And I've seen a lot of successful small businesses across a number of different industries retain customers that they were about to lose. And also use
And how does that work? Tell me about that. How do they
Yeah.
retain customers they're losing? That's very interesting.
So
How does that work?
in the cases that I've seen, and I've also worked with customers, is that they will directly actually reach out to some of these customers. Or they will, in fact, respond and say, hey, you know what? I saw your reply. I'd like to connect with you offline and see what we can do to correct the problem that you had. And in fact, I think one of the things that small businesses have gotten really smart and understanding is this conversation is going to happen regardless of whether I like it or not. So I've got to engage and participate in that conversation.
And another thing I have curious about, Tom, you mentioned customer support was the #1 priority for small businesses in a survey. Do you find that there's a slant that too many small businesses, or in general, are trying to get more customers? I mean, as one who writes, and as a journalist, and Ellis writes about this, I see a lot about social media to get customers.
Right?
Yeah.
Is
But
there
I-
too much focus
Yes.
on the acquisition
Yeah.
part?
Right. I don't hear enough on support. What do you do
Yeah.
after the fact?
Right. And, you know, the acquisition, I have to admit, I think was also really hyped up for a while. I'm sure we recall the days of Groupon and Living Social. They're important vehicles, but they can be quite costly. And I think, again, from experience working with a lot of small businesses, they invest all this energy and time acquiring those customers, but oftentimes they're not servicing them very well. What I would define it in the funnel as they come into their website or into their store. And then subsequent to that, as they've made a purchase or done a transaction, retaining them and growing that relationship. You know, think broadly. Think
Okay.
that, in fact, this is not about like I just served a customer and now, you know, they're in a different area. In fact, think holistically.
Okay.
If I'm going to retain this customer over the next 3 to 4 years and grow the business, what do I want to do? Are there things that I want to do, for example, provide ongoing communication? It could be things like email newsletter. And one of the also success stories about small businesses, they make it very personable. So customer support doesn't have to be a bunch of people sitting behind a phone and answering questions. You know, make sure you create that dialogue that's unique. So email newsletter is a good example. There are other strategies I would advise her to think about. You know, one of the things that we're also noticing is voice is going out of favor. It's very costly to do a voice phone call. If in that example, the cleaning business, if someone has a question, they should be able to go online, you know, either chat with somebody or maybe send a message. So, and one of the things that we've learned from third-party research too, that oftentimes chat can be about 6 times even more cost-effective than voice. So
Really?
that's a real powerful vehicle. So I would kind of give that some thought. And you know, one other practical advice is you look at these means, have her think about number of different channels so that customers can in fact get in touch with her. So it doesn't have to be just that phone number. You know, really, maybe again it's through messaging, maybe it's through some chat, or maybe even on the Facebook page or some of the social
Right.
sites.
So make it easy for people to get a hold of you, and don't hide all your information like certain
Right.
airlines do. I don't know.
Right. And
Which one
actually,
might that be, Ellis?
All of them.
that got me thinking. There's some level of effort involved in moderating
Sure.
the conversation, but there's a real power in allowing the community to be able to interact with each other and provide comments as well.
Tom, thank you so much for being here. This is great
Thank you very much.
information.
Appreciate it.
Thank you. Thank you for watching Ignition, a weekly show from Infusionsoft where we take one question to help you grow your business. I'm Ramon Ray. Ellis, remind us one more time, how can we reach the Ignition Show?
One more time, Ramon, it is blog@infusionsoft.com.
Thanks for watching, and don't forget to check out ignitionshow.com for past and future episodes of Ignition and to learn all about customer support, sales, marketing, and whatever else Ellis and I answer from your questions.